Welcome to our exploration of perfectly competitive labor markets, a cornerstone concept in microeconomics. In these markets, countless firms and workers engage in a dynamic interplay where wages are determined by supply and demand forces. Imagine a bustling marketplace of labor where no single participant controls the market price. This environment fosters a unique equilibrium, with firms acting as wage takers, accepting the market rate. As we delve into this topic, you'll discover how these markets operate efficiently, driven by the collective actions of individual workers and employers. Join us as we unpack the intricacies of this fascinating economic model, setting the stage for a deeper understanding of wage determination, marginal revenue product, and strategic firm behavior to maximize profits. Let's begin our journey into the world of perfectly competitive labor markets. In perfectly competitive labor markets, wage determination is an intriguing interplay of supply and demand dynamics. Here, wages are not dictated by individual firms, but are established at the intersection of the labor supply and demand curves. This hallmark of perfect competition ensures that no single entity can influence the wage level. Firms in this market are wage takers, meaning they accept the prevailing wage rate set by market forces. This characteristic ensures firms operate efficiently, hiring workers only when it aligns with the market-determined wage. Understanding this concept is crucial for students of AP Microeconomics, as it underscores the impersonal nature of these markets, where individual preferences have little sway over broader economic outcomes. Next time you consider how wages are set, remember that in perfectly competitive labor markets, it's the collective forces of supply and demand that hold the reins. This foundational understanding is essential as we explore concepts like marginal revenue product and profit-maximizing behavior in subsequent segments. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel these economic phenomena. In the realm of perfectly competitive labor markets, the concept of marginal revenue product, or MRP, plays a pivotal role. But what exactly is MRP? Simply put, it represents the additional revenue a firm earns from employing one more unit of labor. Imagine a factory line where each worker contributes to producing goods. Hiring an extra worker increases production, and the revenue from selling these additional goods is the MRP. Now, why is this important for firms? In a market brimming with competition, firms must make strategic hiring decisions to remain profitable. The MRP helps firms determine the value of an additional worker, guiding them in deciding how many workers to employ. By understanding the MRP, firms can assess whether the revenue generated by an extra worker outweighs the cost of hiring them. If the MRP exceeds the wage rate, hiring more workers is beneficial. Conversely, if the MRP is less than the wage rate, firms may reconsider expanding their workforce. Thus, the marginal revenue product is not just a theoretical concept, but a practical tool that firms use to navigate the complexities of labor markets, ensuring they strike a balance between labor costs and revenue generation. In perfectly competitive labor markets, firms face a critical decision when it comes to hiring. To achieve profit maximization, firms adhere to a fundamental rule: they continue to hire additional workers, up to the point where the marginal revenue product, or MRP, equals the wage rate. This principle is central to understanding how firms operate within these markets. The MRP represents the additional revenue a firm earns from employing one more worker. It's a vital metric that guides firms in making informed hiring decisions. When the MRP exceeds the wage rate, hiring more workers contributes to greater profits. However, if the wage rate surpasses the MRP, additional hiring would lead to losses. Thus, the equilibrium point, where MRP equals the wage rate, marks the optimal level of employment. This approach ensures that firms do not overextend their resources, maintaining a balance. By aligning their hiring practices with this profit-maximizing rule, firms can effectively navigate the competitive landscape, optimizing their workforce to achieve financial success. Understanding this concept is crucial for students and educators alike, as it highlights the strategic considerations firms must weigh in a perfectly competitive labor market. In perfectly competitive labor markets, understanding the concept of marginal resource cost, or MRC, is essential. The MRC is the cost incurred by a firm when employing an additional unit of labor, and in these markets, it equates directly to the wage rate. This relationship is pivotal because it helps firms make informed decisions about employment levels. By ensuring that the MRC aligns with the wage rate, firms can determine the optimal number of workers to hire, thereby maximizing efficiency and profitability. This process is integral to maintaining balance within the labor market, as firms strive to employ just the right amount of labor to meet production needs without incurring unnecessary costs. Understanding MRC not only aids in optimal hiring decisions, but also reinforces the broader principles of wage determination and resource allocation in perfectly competitive environments. This insight is crucial for both AP Microeconomics students and educators alike. In perfectly competitive labor markets, the dynamic interplay between labor supply and demand is fundamental in determining wage rates and employment levels. As workers decide how much labor to offer and firms determine how much labor to hire, these forces converge to establish a market equilibrium. When the supply of labor increases, perhaps due to more workers entering the market, wage rates may adjust downward, reflecting the higher availability of labor. Conversely, when demand for labor rises, driven by firms expanding their operations or entering new markets, wages tend to increase as firms compete to attract the necessary workforce. This delicate balance ensures that labor resources are allocated efficiently, with wage rates acting as signals to both employers and employees. For firms, understanding these dynamics is crucial as it influences their hiring strategies and cost structures. For workers, it impacts their employment opportunities and potential earnings. By grasping the nuances of labor supply and demand interactions, students of economics can better appreciate the underlying mechanisms that shape labor markets, ultimately leading to informed decision-making in both business and policy contexts. This segment highlights the pivotal role these interactions play in the broader framework of perfectly competitive labor markets. In the realm of perfectly competitive labor markets, efficient resource allocation is paramount for firms aiming to optimize productivity. This segment delves into how businesses meticulously allocate their resources to ensure maximum efficiency. The guiding principle here is to equalize the marginal product per dollar spent across all inputs. By doing so, firms can make certain that every last dollar they invest yields the same return in terms of output. This strategy not only maximizes productivity, but also aligns with the profit-maximizing goals of the firm. As firms continuously assess their input costs and output returns, they adjust their resource allocation to maintain this balance. Such precision in resource management ensures that firms remain competitive and profitable in a market where every decision counts. Understanding this concept is crucial. As we conclude our exploration of perfectly competitive labor markets, let's translate theory into practice. Consider the retail and agricultural sectors. In retail, numerous stores compete for labor, setting wages through the delicate dance of supply and demand. Similarly, in agriculture, the seasonal ebb and flow of labor needs reflect the principles we've discussed. These real-world examples illustrate how firms navigate the complexities of wage determination and resource allocation. We've delved into key concepts like marginal revenue product and profit-maximizing hiring strategies, all underpinned by the dynamics of labor supply and demand. By understanding these mechanisms, businesses can efficiently allocate resources, ensuring productivity and profitability. As you reflect on these insights, remember that these principles are not just academic, they're the backbone of thriving markets. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the intricacies of labor economics. Subscribe for more enriching content on AP Television.